Hey people, welcome to this video. Listen up because I got some stuff to share with you today. So we're playing 2077. First thing we're going to show you real quick is going to be how to get up to the Endgame mansion depending on the ending that you get. But you can get up to the Endgame mansion at any time with, as long as you have double jump. You don't even need to have the Kolesnikov to slow down time. It's very simple, very easy. Just follow this tutorial and we'll be able to get you up there. And depending on the weather conditions in game, you'll see a weird weather phenomenon based on the skybox. So where we are is we're at your apartment, the starting game apartment in 2077. This one here. Fun fact, you can actually see your mansion from your own apartment. Very fun, very unique. So we just head out, and this is the way you used to be able to do it, was you double jump onto this extra elevator, and the old guides used to tell you to jump up here and then do a weird Kolesnikov halfway across the entire world, and then so on and so on. But little did they know, this box here, if I can jump right, is actually has a hitbox and has texture, so you can actually jump onto it, as does this. And then it's a little difficult to see, so we're going to skip some time here so that way it's a little bit easier to see. We'll skip into the morning here so that way things are able to be seen. So we're over on the same area that they're telling you to use your weird Kolesnikov dodge jumps from, but instead of doing that, all we need is double jumping and moving forward. And then as soon as you're here, you can jump up to this. And then this one is a little bit tricky. You gotta thread this needle right here. You jump up, you mantle up, and you're all of a sudden up here. This is a very easy, simplistic way to get to that endgame mansion here. And all I've used is double jump. Now this right here is where you're gonna wanna jump from here. Sometimes it's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but you'll mantle to it. And then you see this sort of black or sort of gray line that's in the middle of these two potential levels of stuff. That is what you're trying to jump towards. You'll mantle through the wall, and then you just follow this around, go all the way to this corner because you'll get stuck on this because it has a hitbox. And then this here, you just sort of jump couple times. You don't even have to double jump, and eventually you'll fall through, and then you'll get to see weird traffic simulations. Unless you actually go all the way to the edge, then you'll actually see buildings. And then that's pretty much it. You follow this around the building until you go over this pipe. You can mantle over or you can double jump. It's really up to you. My character is fairly high leveled, but you don't really need to be high leveled to do this. Now, depending on how you want to try this, you can aim for the lower roof, because that is our mansion right there, and then jump down to the little pool that you have there. Or if you do the rest of this video's tutorials, go away, Pan Am. If you do the rest of this video's tutorials and you get the Immortality, you can just YOLO jump all the way over here and not care. Now, we don't have any interesting weather phenomenons going on right now, but if you did have, let's say it was raining in game for you and you went to here, because this is supposed to be an end game area and you're supposed to have nice tropical, like paradise type weather, it would just change to this. And if you went to like the edges here, so like you can see those clouds just developing, yeah, that's because the skybox is forcibly different in this area. I just accidentally activated optical camo. Whoops. Now the problem is you can't actually go in here anymore. It used to be that you could many months ago, but you can't anymore. This is not openable unless, I think, if you get that ending and then you come back in like the post game stuff, maybe. But I'll be honest, I don't really care enough to try and test that out because I'm trying to get different endings. But if you want to get to the second level and get inside but not be able to go to like anywhere fancy, you basically do like the old school Skyrim type jumping on this wall here. You can do it on the let's see here. You can do it on this area over here and like jump up and then try and get to this one and then this one, but I find it's best you just literally face right towards this solid portion and then just double jump up a bunch of times. And then this second floor is just open. Now, this is basically what the first floor looks like, just without any of the furniture and without any of the stuff. There should be a staircase here, like how it shows here, but there isn't because it's just like, hey, you haven't reached the certain requirements of like, you haven't done the actual mission. Like, there isn't normally a third floor, there's only 2 floors. And this is where the shower scene happens with you and whatever partner you chose. This is where your bed normally is when you're in the normal thing, and there's normally a shitload of furniture. What I will advise you is stay away from this, because this is an elevator shaft, and if you fall into it, there is literally no way out at all, period, full stop. It's not fun. Now, let's get into the immortality and how I achieved the capacity to not matter or care about the fact that I can jump off of this roof. And if any of you in the audience have ever tried this before and gotten up here and jumped off, you know that you die pretty much no matter how much health you have. And just to show you, my character has 584 health and 550 armor, so like I have about 1,000 total potential health to me, but we all know that if you jump off this building, you're supposed to die. I apparently did a crime. I probably landed on somebody. Anyway, now, let's discuss how in the world I achieved the immortality. Crime prevention activated. Oh no. I'll have to kill the cops. It's fine. So, how you achieve immortality in this game currently. You'll have to excuse the weird scrolling bug. The weird audio scrolling bug, because I have no idea how to fix it. I'll be on the level with you. But the way that you achieve immortality in this game, the best way that I've seen and tested myself, is doing Ozob Bozo's mission. So the Send in the Clowns mission. And as you can see, I've done a lot of missions since then with my immortality because I had nothing better to do. And it basically stays on you forever until you do some other mission that has a section where you're supposed to be immortal or unable to take damage and die. So the mission in question, you actually end up failing. So Send in the Clowns is something that you have to actually fail. Now, basically what ends up happening is you will have to have completed the transmission mission. So the mission where you go to the Voodoo Boys, you go into the Deep Net, and you talk to Alt, and then you come up with a plan to go to Mikoshi. Spoilers, sort of, for a game that is now exactly a year old. So if you haven't gotten to this portion in any of your playthroughs yet, I kind of have no idea what you're doing. You're really playing slow, because like I've played through this game and actually gotten a lot of achievement of a lot of missions like 3 times. I played like over 1,000 hours at this point. Point is, as soon as you completed this mission, you'll have a decent amount of time, I would say maybe 1 to 2 to maybe even 3 in-game days, where you're just doing other shit, and eventually you'll get a text from Ozob the Clown, aka Ozob Bozo. It's Bozo backwards, and he'll be like, hey, I got my this number from a friend, call me. And then you call him, and then he's like, hey, be my driver. And then basically all you need to do is you need to pick him up, you take him to the location area where he does his crime, the like Kang Tao chicken place, but instead of going right to there, there's enemies nearby. You aggro them, get him shooting at you, and then you drop him off. And as soon as he's out of the car and he's walking in, get out of the car you're driving and run away. And then you'll know you've done this right when he texts you being like, wow, good job. If a good job means something to the effect of like, fuck you, and then you get the mission failed. And then from then on, you'll be immortal. And then the best way to do XP farming is actually going to be, we're going to spawn our car here. We're going to spawn the Caliburn because the Caliburn is the best car. I don't know if healing changes anything or makes you suddenly not have your immortality. I haven't really ever tried it, so if I just accidentally broke it, that'll be awkward. Now you can either fast travel there or you can drive there. It's really up to you. But basically, you go to the border. And the reason you go to the border is by this point in the story, you should have at least some levels behind you where you can, you know, reasonably say, hey, I'm good. I don't have to worry. I'm a bad driver. Don't worry about it. And even if you don't necessarily have a lot of levels, the main goal here is as long as you have the immortality, you can't die anyways. So you go to the border. The border has the highest leveled enemies, the most consistently. So there are enemies that are obviously going to be way more intense and require way more work, even if you are fairly decently high leveled. Like I'm level 42, but when I started this, I was probably about 25-ish. I want to say somewhere in that realm. And obviously that's going to be different for you, depending on how you've been playing the game. But there are a few different ways to farm lots of XP very quickly. This is the best one when you have immortality. But if you don't have immortality, these guys will fucking wreck you. Because the border security is meant and designed to be there to royally dick you down, because it's a version of a hard barrier that the game puts in place. But basically it's designed so that way, because you're not supposed to be able to leave Night City, and in other areas, if you're going outside of like the borders and the map of what they've designed, the game will just, Jesus Christ, the game will just flat out tell you, hey, there's nothing for you out here yet, turn back now or else. And then if you don't, then it will literally like do a glitch screen and then turn you back the other way. And then if you continue to do it, then I think it'll like just reload a save for you, and you'll be like far as fuck away or wherever your last quick save or like manual save was. Not ideal, right? So that is annoying. But if we get into the best farming methods, aside from this one here, Jesus Christ, where the fuck am I? Guys, I have no idea where I am. Sometimes the GPS is really fucking difficult to follow. I'm a level with you. But basically, this is the best farming method just due to the sheer fact that these guys are the highest level, because they're designed to completely prevent you, the player, from actually being able to leave Night City. But because of the way that realistic as possible, they kind of don't get the opportunity to do a lot with it, in the sense of like, it's an actually open area, and if they just like forced you to walk away or like drive the opposite direction, it just wouldn't work very well, because people would be like, well, that's not very realistic to a border. Whereas like actual map edges, like up in the mountains, it's a little bit more forgivable. My man, Max Mike. Oh, Jesus. Oh, jeez. We're gonna turn off the radio here so that way I can talk to you guys. But basically, you just drive out, or you can fast travel, because there is a fast travel point, which I have now marked on my map. I just decided driving and explaining things would be better. So with this mission, mission and becoming immortal, the hardest part realistically is making sure that you have the aggro on those enemies that are right close to it. And I want to say from my memory, I don't honestly remember the exact area where the drop-off point is, but it's somewhere in the Kang Tao territory, and it's kind of similar to the area where Vic is. It's kind of in this type of area where it's like very small, narrow hallways or like walkways. You just look around on your map or drive around, like don't get too close to where you actually know that you're dropping them off, and then you aggro some enemies, and then like as long as you've got them aggroed, which just means they're following you, they're hostile towards you, and they're going to try and shoot at you, and then you drive and you maintain their aggro and you're still like quote unquote in combat, as long as that is the case, you will be able to do this immortality glitch. Because as soon as you drop him off and he gets out, you're supposed to be unable to take damage going forward. And then if you wait, he gets out of the car, he goes to do his thing, and then you get out of the car and you fucking run. Just run away. I don't care where you run, just run away. Like you could almost run all, I'm pretty sure it's right in that little plaza where Vic's clinic is. And basically the point is you could run to like your apartment and you could go up to the mansion if you really wanted, and you had the double jump legs for it. But point still remains is that is how you know you've done it right, is you got the failed mission from Ozob, Bozo, and as soon as that happens, you're fucking good, and then you can literally go and do this. And the most difficult portion, I would say, is it depends on how high your level actually is. Because I know that my level when I started this, like I said, was somewhere around, I want to say mid-20s to like the early 30s area. And the problem that came up was that you deal almost no damage by comparison to these enemies who are level 50 plus. But basically, what you can do now is you can go to the border, you can be sneaky if you want, you can use whatever weapon you want.
You're not in trouble.
I've leveled my quick hacking to the maximum, but you can use your quick hacking, you can use any weapon you want. And basically your goal here is they're gonna be like, you committed a crime, and then they're gonna try and kill you. But because you're immortal, you're gonna take no damage. Now ordinarily, there are security turrets in the ceiling of the border here, and they will shoot at you too. So what I would say, I'm on a PlayStation 4, and not even a pro at that. So if my console could handle it, and this isn't a new console either, I've had it for like 5+ years. If my console can handle all of the enemies shooting at me as well as the turrets, or the turrets just generally being like infinite ammo and firing, you should be okay. However, what I would also recommend is you can just use the turrets, and you can hack the turrets to shoot and be friendly for you, and they'll shoot at the border guards, but then you're not going to get as much XP. So what I would recommend is you just take them out with a gun if you have the ammunition, because obviously when you're in combat like this, you can't craft, so that's the one skill you can't level up. But do see my other video that came out recently, the best money farming, or the best money glitch in patch 1.3 with 2077. That is the best way to either level your crafting. You just do that and you get infinite money. Obviously I haven't gotten to an infinite status, but that's a substantial amount of money given how fucking decked out my character is realistically. So, and that's what I would recommend, is you just use whatever weapon is available to you. Which one of you has already taken that? Where is he? Where the hell is that motherfucker? I'm gonna get rid of this thing because it's bothering me. But basically, my best recommendation to you guys is you just go to the border after you have the immortality. As soon as they can't kill you, eventually, and this is a good way to level any weapon. Any weapon you equip, you can utilize these weapons and you can shoot them at people, and eventually you will start progressing and you'll get XP levels for this level up here. That will happen. Your street cred probably won't go up because generally border security isn't going to give you street cred because they're supposed to be good people. you can level up anything from your mono wire to your mantis blades to your quick hacking to anything that you want. The most efficient way is really just dependent on what your build is, how you played the game going up to this. The reason my mono wire seems to be the thing I'm going for is that's what I'm leveling. Normally I'd be leveling my quick hacking right now, but I have my quick hacking maxed out, so that is the thing. And so now you see that way down that way, and there are even still people this way. And I will also give you the fair warning, don't run through the border crossing. Because as soon as you get to a certain point across the border, God, this is getting really glitchy. As soon as you get to a certain portion across the border, you will die because there will be a death barrier that is literally unpreventable no matter what. You don't take damage, it's just death barrier, you're dead immediately as soon as you pass a certain point. And generally, there are plenty of videos online of people showing off, like, if you have like the second heart thing where like as soon as you get reduced to 0 health, you then and go back up to 100. There are videos of people who will go through the border crossing without immortality and just with the second heart thing, they'll drive through and they die 2 times in like under a minute. It's kind of funny actually. But this is the best way to just level up, just period, full stop. Because as you kill these people, you will gain levels for doing basically whatever weapon you're doing. You're still killing people that are hostile. And you could be jumping around to level your athletics and things like that, because those are, I would say, the hardest ones to level is your athletics. But every time you kill somebody, you get XP for killing them, and you also get, you know, different things like that. So you can level your quick hacking by doing things like using contagion repeatedly. My current build really incentivizes using quick hacks repeatedly because I have all legendary, which is really good, but if you look at my frontal cortex, I have increased crit chance because crit chance is fucking insanely good in this game. But my other stuff isn't even as high as you can get it, but basically the idea is you're recovering RAM really quickly, and as soon as you defeat enemies, you recover 3 units of RAM. So if you're using something as simple as a system reset, which literally ends with, in my case, because I have one of the cyber decks that lets my stuff jump from this, and the Raven Mark IV are the best ones. I would say this is the best one, and basically it just allows you to have your ultimate quick hacks, which are things like system reset. I believe is a ultimate quick hack. I believe. Let me see, because yeah, I know suicide is an ultimate, and then cyber psychosis is definitely an ultimate, and I think detonate grenade is also an ultimate. But basically, as soon as you use those things, like suicide on these enemies, if you're not really close in level, isn't gonna kill them. It just isn't. But system reset literally kills everybody. And basically, my best advice to you is, if you're doing quick hacking, you use your best quick hack like a system reset so you can kill these enemies as quick as possible. And then you just sit there using any kind of gun, or you could just stand there. It's really up to you. And then you just hit him with, again, system reset. This guy's not dead. He's technically just immobilized. And then it splash damages over to him. It would splash damage over to another person if I had hit them all with contagion, because that's what legendary contagion does. But and then you just kind of sit there. And the best part about using system reset is because you're basically killing 2 people immediately. You immediately, like, this is a 17, I have 23 RAM, but my RAM can't drop below 3 because of other cyberware and stuff I have. But as soon as I do this, I go to, sorry, it's 4, because I've leveled that ability up. He's dead, I'm replenishing stuff, and then as soon as it registers he's done for, I get 3 back, and then the next person does the same thing, and just like that, I've leveled up. And this is a very weird, interesting build. Don't judge me on it. But yeah, it allows you to then, as soon as you've finished all of your enemies, as soon as everyone that you have aggroed in this immediate vicinity has died, then you get to basically reset them. And the best way to reset them is you take a car that is either fast, or you can just take a car that is not that fast. If you want to do this and end it before you have to kill everybody, like you're like, oh, I just want to get this done and over with, and I want my level now, and I don't want to have to kill another 5 to 10 people, that's fair. You just take... So I'm just going to show you that suicide isn't always useful. This guy, yeah, this guy will die because he's low, but that doesn't necessarily happen on all of them. Like, this guy is full health. We'll wait for the suicide to be usable. Oh, I can't use it on him, can I? Oh, he's gone. We'll use it on this guy. He's full HP, and I'm fairly certain he's not going to die now. Neither one of these guys are going to die. Oh, he did die! Wow. That's new. It's probably because I'm a lot closer in level, but when you're not as close in level, they just won't die when you use something like suicide on them. So just keep that in mind. System reset, I think, is still the superior... He's dead. The superior thing. Now, be aware, again, if you don't have weapons that scale with these guys, like if you try to use one of their assault rifles, but you're like level 20, 30, you will pump, and even if you have full ammo capacity in your like kit and everything, or you crafted ahead of time, you will not kill a single person if you are too low leveled, even with all of the ammo you can use for like a shotgun or a sniper or any other weapon. I know, because I did it. I've been there and done that. Basically, this should be realistically the last enemy. There are enemies over there. I don't know where they are. And then you'll get, there you go, I just got a shitload of Street Brawler. I got some athletics in there. I got even more athletics now. And then you just jump in a car, and you can just reverse, or you can flip around and do whatever you feel like. And as soon as you reach... And eventually your stars will go away too, and then it won't matter. But as soon as you've reached this sort of area on the map, this sort of like you have other places to go, you can turn around and you can go right back and do it all over again, if that is something that you wanted to do. And that's it. That's the best way to farm XP. That's the best way to get levels and everything aside from basically your crafting, because you can also craft about 1,000,000 grenades in advance if you have the crafting materials, and you can try and just sit there and blow them up the whole time if that is what you want to do. So that is the best things in Cyberpunk 1.3 right now, is you can level your crafting by doing an infinite money glitch. Another video is on my channel. It's the most viewed video at the time of recording this. And this is the best way to level up everything else. I went from about 20, 25-ish, I would say, from that last video. Maybe I was in my 30s, somewhere in that realm, to 43 now in probably a few hours of gameplay, because realistically it just depends. You get a lot of XP for killing enemies that are substantially higher than you, but as you get closer to their level, the XP that you get from killing people and doing those things is a little bit less. But I would also just tell you the best way to do these things is look at your skills. So for example, assault is based off of your rifles and your SMGs. So if you want to level your assault, which right now would kind of be a bad idea because I'm already almost leveled out, because I can only level it to 8 right now. But if that was the case, focus on using that, get hordes of XP. When you think that you've got it, and you can, again, you can in the middle of combat just pause like this, go and look at how leveled you are and things, and do that. But if you want to do, athletics is a bad example, but annihilation is shotguns and stuff, Street Brawler is your blunt weapons, which includes monowire, by the way, which is really weird, and the only reason I'm leveling it. Otherwise, I usually never touch this fucking skill. But as you can see, I have 5 levels in this. So that's why I'm trying to level it, is because I want to do a monowire build. And that's why I'm just using monowire, and I'm getting shitloads of XP for it. Because it's just, you just use the weapons that you know you have potential to gain a lot of XP in. And then you'll gain more XP towards your level by leveling abilities that you have left to level. Like if you have your stealth maxed out like I do right now, because I haven't put anything into stealth or into cool on this build, then crouching around and trying to get the stealth bonuses and get them to forget that you're there isn't going to fucking help you. You're not going to gain anything from it aside from the serotonin of haha, I tricked them. But this has kind of been the builds that I've been going with a lot recently, and I think I've respec'd like 3 times probably. I have currently 69, nice, skill points spent. You can respec as much as you really need when you have infinite money. I could respec now and still have it almost do no real denting to the amount of money I have, so, you know. But yeah, that is the best way to level up in 2077 right now. As soon as you get to Act 2 and you can, if you want to, you can speedrun through all of the mission quests through Act 2 until after you've done transmission. As soon as you've done transmission, you can go forward and you can do Ozob quest, the, where is it here? Send in the clowns. As soon as you failed that quest, you should be immortal. The way I tested it is, I was like, all right, cool, I should be immortal now. Let's test it by shooting a civilian in the face, and then as soon as the cops arrive, you'll know if you're immortal, because they'll try and kill you. And if you can't take damage, and you're not noticing your health bar changing, you're good. And if you haven't, this is where setting save points before you start the mission, or save points before you've gotten to that point, will help you. And if you care about trying to finish this mission, that's also on you. You could probably reload your save and do it, but I would say that it would probably get rid of your immortality. Now, one thing I will advise you against is every mission you're seeing that I completed afterward, I was immortal for, so you don't need to worry about that. But there are other missions that come after Send in the Clowns that give you immortality temporarily. And if you get to one of those missions, I haven't found any yet, but if you get to one of those missions where it's like, hey, you're immortal, you can't be killed in this portion, and it's somewhere in that coding, and you won't really know until you do that mission, and then you come out of that mission and you're like, oh, I'm immortal, let me jump off this fucking skyscraper, and then all of a sudden you die. That is pretty much where it's at. Is as soon as you've done one of those missions after Send in the Clowns that gives you the immortality, as soon as you've done that, it will take away your immortality because it's just how it's coded. So be careful and be aware of that. I would say probably any of the missions that involve you becoming Johnny probably have something in there for that, but I don't know. I haven't actually found a mission yet where that happens, and I've done a lot of specific missions. I've done most of the cyber cycles I had available to me. I Fought the Law, which is a really good one. I did all the Beat on the Brats because I was like, oh yeah, now I don't fucking take damage, so I will always win the boxing matches. And this is also because I tried doing Beat on the Brat before I was immortal. I bought the Animal Knuckles on the Gorilla Arms, and I bought the Legendary, and I tricked out the Gorilla Arms, and I was like, alright, cool, I should be good to just go into this without any Street Brawler perks or anything, but I have the best punching things besides skills, and I should be good. And then I lost a bunch of money, and then I had to reload my save because I was like, I want my money. But now that I was immortal, I literally went and did it with base punching power, because eventually you can just do that. But yeah, that's where we are. You can do all of those missions. You can do, Stadium Love is a good one. You can do all the Cyber Psychos, probably. I did Riders on the Storm, Hacking the Hacker, Dream On, which is another good one. Sinnerman I did. Space Oddity. which used to be part of an infinite money glitch, but now that they took out the replication stuff, you can't do that anymore. I even just did Queen of the Highway, and I'm still immortal. You guys saw it at the beginning of the video. I jumped off a fucking skyscraper and took no damage. So, thank you all for watching. Be sure to leave a comment if this helped you out. Likes, subscribes. Sharing it around in the different Cyberpunk communities is probably ideal for any players who don't know it, and then you can be like, hey, this is who I watched. So, and if you need any help, I will try and put some links in the description for other videos that show the Ozo mission, because I can't show it right now, but if I get to it on a new playthrough, we'll do a part 2 and just be like, let's show it to you, which might actually happen fairly soon, but we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and